Students, today we discuss the remaining part of earthworm or Ferritima postuma. In the last class, we discussed the introduction to blood vascular system. What are the remaining systems associated with the body of earthworm or Ferritima? One we call it as the nervous system. The next one is excretory system, then the reproductive system, and finally the development. Let us discuss the nervous system of earthworm. As we observe the body of earthworm, the nervous system is classified into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. In the body of earthworm, the nervous system classified into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now, in the central nervous system, what are present? What are the components of central nervous system? One we call it as the nerve ring, and the second one we call it as double ventral solid nerve cord. Now, what about the peripheral nervous system? The nerves arise from the nerve ring, and the nerves arise from the ganglia of nerve cord. Again, it is repeating. The nervous system in the body of earthworm is classified into central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. What are the components of central nervous system? One is nerve ring, second one double ventral solid nerve cord. Now, as we observe in all invertebrates, as we observe the nerve cord is present on the ventral side. So, as we observe the invertebrates, the body of invertebrates can be opened from the dorsal side. As we observe the chordata animals, in case of chordata animals, the nerve cord present on the dorsal side. So, in chordata animals, the body can be opened from the ventral side. Now, we have to discuss some important bits regarding the nervous system. As we observe the nervous system, what are the bits we have to observe? Now, the first one, the nervous system is developed from. Now, what are the options? Ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, ectoendoderm. Now, we have to discuss some important points regarding this bit. The nervous system in all animals, the nervous system is derived from what type of germ layer? The ectoderm. We are having a good idea regarding the nervous tissue in the animal organization. As we observe the nervous tissue, in the nervous tissue, the neurons and glial cells are present. As we observe the central nervous system, in the central nervous system, microglial cells are present. As we observe the central nervous system, microglial cells are present. As we observe the microglial cells are the only cells of nervous tissue derived from the mesoderm, because as we observe the microglial cells, the precursors of microglial cells originated from the bone marrow. We know very well the bone marrow or the bony tissue derived from mesoderm. In the bone marrow, the precursors of microglial cells are present. So, in the nervous tissue, only microglial cells are derived from mesoderm. Remaining all components derived from ectoderm. Now, Based on this information, now we observe the question. Nervous system is derived from or developed from. One is ectoderm, second one endoderm, third one mesoderm, fourth one ectoendoderms. What is the correct answer? The ectoderm. Now, as we observe the microglial cells, these are the only cells of nervous tissue derived from the mesoderm. Now, we observe the next question. Nerve cord in Ferritima starts from. Now, as we observe the nervous system of earthworm, this is the third segment, and this is the fourth segment, and this is fifth segment, and so on. And this is the last segment, 120th segment. Now, in the third segment, suprapharyngeal ganglia present. In the fourth segment, subpharyngeal ganglia present. These are connected by circumpharyngeal connectivities. From the subpharyngeal ganglia, two longitudinal nerve cords arise, they extending up to the last segment. Now, what is our question? The nerve cord in Ferritima starts from. In case of invertebrates, how many nerve cords? 2. So, it is double. How they are arranged longitudinally? Where nerve cord present? On the ventral side. Now, as we observe the nerve cord starts from fourth segment. Name the ganglia from which the nerve cord arises. Subpharyngeal ganglia. Now, we observe the question. Nerve cord in Ferritima starts from. One is suprapharyngeal ganglia. It is also called cerebral ganglia or brain. Second one, subpharyngeal ganglia. Third one, supraesophageal. Fourth one, subesophageal. Regarding earthworm, the double ventral solid nerve cord arises from subpharyngeal ganglia which are present in fourth segment. Now, what is the answer? The second one. Now, we go for the next question. Assertion. In Ferritima, epidermal receptors work as mechanoreceptors. Reason. They detect ground vibrations. Now we discuss what are the sense organs in the body of earthworm. In the body of earthworm, the sense organs are also called the receptors. How they are classified? One is epidermal receptors, second one buccal receptors, and the third one photoreceptors. Now, as we observe the epidermal receptors, they are also called tactile receptors. They are also called tango receptors. Where epidermal receptors are present? They are present all over body. Name the receptors present all over body. Epidermal receptors. The epidermal receptors more on ventrolateral sides. The epidermal receptors more on ventrolateral sides. Now, as we observe the epidermal receptors, they help to know the ground vibrations. They help to know the ground vibrations. They help to know the touch. They help to know the footprints. Now, as we observe the assertion and reason, now the assertion in Ferritima, epidermal receptors work as mechanoreceptors. It is correct. What is the reason? They detect ground vibrations. As we observe the epidermal receptors, They are present all over the body. They help to know the ground vibrations, to know the touch, to know the footprints. Based on this, the epidermal receptors are also known as mechanoreceptors or tactile receptors or tango. So here A and R are correct. R explains the A. Now we go for the next question. Distinguishing character of buccal receptor cells of Pheretima. Now as we observe the buccal receptors, where buccal receptors are present. Now this part we call it as the mouth. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity is lined inside by buccal epithelium. In the buccal epithelium, what are present? The buccal receptors. The structure of buccal receptors is similar to that of the structure of epidermal receptors. As we observe the buccal receptors, they are made by the columnar cells. The buccal receptors made by columnar cells. In the buccal receptor, in each cell, the nucleus is present at the base. Now, the free surface having the sensory hair. Now, as we observe, what is the distinguishing feature of buccal receptor cells of Pheretima? Now, what is the first option? Nuclei present on the lateral sides of the cells. Second, nuclei on the upper sides of the cells. Third, nuclei in the center of the cells. Fourth option. Now, as we observe the buccal receptor, it is made by columnar cells. They are in the form of group. Now, in the buccal receptor, in each cell, the nucleus is at the base or the nucleus is deeply arranged. The free surface having sensory air. Now, what is the important character of buccal receptor? How can we identify buccal receptor? In the buccal receptor, the nucleus present in the deeper parts. Now, what is the correct answer for this question? The fourth option. Now, move for the next question. As we observe the next question, the ganglia present in the groove separating buccal chamber and pharynx in Pheretima. Now, as we observe, this is third segment and this is the fourth segment and this is second segment and first segment. As we observe the first segment, on the ventral side of first segment, what is present? The mouth. The mouth opens into buccal cavity. As we observe the buccal cavity, part of buccal cavity present in the first segment, it is also present in the second segment, it is also present in the part of third segment. Now here what is the question? The ganglia present in the groove separating buccal chamber and pharynx. Now as we observe, what is the groove that separates the buccal chamber and the pharynx? As we observe the pharynx present in third segment and fourth segment. The buccal cavity present in the first segment, second segment and part of the third segment. Now this is the pharynx. Now this one we call it as the groove. On this groove, what type of ganglia present? The suprapharyngeal ganglia. What is the other name of suprapharyngeal ganglia? Cerebral ganglia or brain. Now what is the answer? The ganglia present in the groove separating buccal chamber and pharynx in Pheretima. One is subpharyngeal. Subpharyngeal present in the fourth segment. Now second, cerebral ganglia. What is the other name of cerebral ganglia? Suprapharyngeal. Now what is the correct answer? The second one, cerebral ganglia or suprapharyngeal ganglia or the brain. Now go for the next question. The following are the ganglia on the nerve cord in nervous system of earthworm. Now as we observe the nervous system of earthworm, these are suprapharyngeal ganglia, these are subpharyngeal ganglia, both are connected by circumpharyngeal connectivities. Now around pharynx, this is pharynx. Around the pharynx, what is the present? Nerve ring. In the nerve ring, how many ganglia present? 4 ganglia. Now from the subpharyngeal ganglia, what will arise? Double ventral solid nerve cord. The double ventral solid nerve cord starts from 4th segment. Now from 5th segment to last segment, on the nerve cord, what are present? Segmentally arranged ganglia. Once again it is repeating. On the nerve cord, what type of ganglia are present? Segmentally arranged ganglia. Now what type of ganglia present on nerve cord? Segmentally arranged ganglia. On nerve cord, segmentally arranged ganglia going to start from 5th segment to the last segment. Now what is the answer for this question? First option, segmental ganglia. Second option, subpharyngeal ganglia. Third option, circumpharyngeal connectivities. Fourth option, suprapharyngeal ganglia. Now the correct answer is segmental ganglia, because on nerve cord what type of ganglia? Segmentally arranged ganglia. That is the first option is the correct. Now we go for the next question. Receptor cells of earthworm present in. Now as we observe the body wall of earthworm, this part we call it as cuticle. Now the second part we call it as the epidermis. Now as we observe the epidermis, in the epidermis, how the cells are arranged? They are arranged in one layer. In the epidermis, what type of epithelium present? Simple columnar epithelial cells. Now in the epidermis, what type of cells are present? The large gland cells, and the second one we call it as the basal cells. Third one we call it as supporting cells, and the last one we call it as sensory cells. Now as we observe the sensory cells, they are also called the receptors. Now here what is the question? The receptor cells of earthworm are present in. One is cuticle, it is non-cellular. Second, epidermis, it is cellular. In the epidermis, what are the receptor cells? The sensory cells. Now what is the correct answer? The receptor cells are present in which layer of body wall? The epidermis. Now the correct answer is second. Now go for the next question. Now as we observe the next question, assertion, nerve impulse transmission is rapid throughout the length of double ventral nerve cord of Pheretima. Again it is repeating. Nerve impulse propagation or transmission is rapid throughout the length of double ventral nerve cord of Pheretima. Now as we observe the body of Pheretima, This is called double ventral solid nerve cord. We know very well in all invertebrates, as we observe the nerves. What type of nerves are present? Non-myelinated axons are present. Because of the non-myelinated axons, the nerve impulse propagation is very slow. So that in the body of invertebrates, for the rapid nerve impulse propagation in the nerve cord, what are present? The giant axons are present. What is the other name of axon? That we call it as the nerve fiber. How many giant axons are present? 4. On the dorsal side, 1 giant axon. On the lateral sides, 2 giant axons. On the ventral side, 1 giant axon. The giant axon which is present on the ventral side is not distinct. It is not clear. So, in the body of erythema, as we observe the nerve cord, in the nerve cord, 4 giant axons present. Because of these giant axons, the nerve impulse propagation or transmission is rapid. Now we observe the question. Nerve impulse propagation is rapid throughout the length of double ventral nerve cord of erythema. It is correct. What is the reason? 4 giant axons are present on the nerve cord. So, both are correct. R explains A. Now, go for the next question. Now, as we observe the next question, sense organs of earthworm are present in. Now, here, as we observe the sense organs in the body of earthworm, the sense organs are also called the receptors. What type of cells act as sense organs? The sensory cells. Where the sensory cells are present? In the epidermis. So that the epidermis derived from what type of germ layer? Ectoderm. As epidermis derived from ectoderm, the sensory cells or sense organs or receptors are also derived from the ectoderm. Now, the question is, sense organs of earthworm are present in. One is cuticle. It is non-cellular, no sense organs. Epidermis, it is cellular. So, sense organs present in epidermis. What about the dermis? It is made by connective tissue. What about the basement membrane? The dermis is also called the basement membrane. Now, move for the next question. Now, the nerve cord starts from. Now, as we observe the nervous system, this is the 4th segment. In the 4th segment, what are present? Subpharyngeal ganglia. From the subpharyngeal ganglia, what is going to start? The nerve cord. So, the nerve cord is going to start from 4th segment. What are the ganglia that gives rise to nerve cord? Subpharyngeal ganglia. So, the answer is the 4th segment. Now, go for the next question. Assertion. The nerve ring is present around the pharynx in erythema. Now, what is the reason? The nerve ring contains 4 ganglia. Now, as we observe the nerve ring in the body of earthworm, now this is called the 3rd segment. This is the 4th segment. In the 3rd segment, suprapharyngeal ganglia. In the 4th segment, subpharyngeal ganglia. Both are connected by circumpharyngeal connectivities. If circumpharyngeal connectivities are removed, there is no formation of nerve ring. In the nerve ring, how many ganglia present? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as we observe the assertion, the nerve ring is present around the pharynx in Feritema, 100% correct. Now, what is the reason? The nerve ring contains 4 ganglia. Now, both are correct or explains A. Now, the next one, the next question. Match the following. Now, group 1 and group 2. Now, in the group A, one is epidermal receptors and B, olfactory receptors, and the third one is gustatory receptors, and the fourth one is photoreceptors. Now, group B, one is taste, one is light intensity, third one smell, fourth one tango, and the last one thermoreceptors. Now, once again, we have to observe the group A. In the group A, one is epidermal receptors, second one is olfactory receptors, third one is gustatory receptors, and the last one is the photoreceptors. Now, the olfactory receptors and gustatory receptors are known as the buccal receptors. Now, epidermal receptors, they are also called mechanoreceptors or tactile receptors or tango. They help to know the touch, to know ground vibrations, to know the footprints. What about the olfactory receptors? They help to know the smell. What about the gustatory? They help to know the taste. What about the photoreceptor? In the photoreceptor, L-shaped lens present. Though lens is present, there is no image formation. The photoreceptors help to know the intensity of light. Now, as we observe the comparison, in the body of photoreceptors are compared to that of the retinulae of ommatidium, as well as the photoreceptors are compared to that of ocelli. What is meant by ocelli? Simple eyes. The ocelli also act as photoreceptors. Retinulae, they are present in the ommatidium. They also act as the photoreceptors. So, the photoreceptors of earthworm compared to that of retinulae of ommatidium, ocelli, they are nothing but the simple eyes or the fenisterae. Now, the correct answer, epidermal receptors associated with tango, olfactory receptor, the smell, gustatory receptors, the taste, photoreceptors, the light intensity. Now, go for the next question. Now, the sperms in Feritema are produced by. Now, we have to discuss the reproductive system of earthworm or Feritema. The sperms in Feritema are produced by. Now, as we observe the male reproductive system, this is the 10th segment, 11th segment, and this is the 12th segment. In the 10th segment, what are present? One pair of testes. In the 11th segment, one pair of testes. In the kingdom Animalia, in the body of earthworm, as we observe the testes produce the diploid spermatogonia. The diploid spermatogonia. Once again repeated, in the kingdom Animalia, in the body of earthworm, the testes produce diploid spermatogonia. What is the other name of spermatogonia? The sperm mother cells. Now, as we observe the 11th segment, in the 11th segment, the seminal vesicles are present. In the 12th segment, seminal vesicles are present. Now, the spermatogonia, they enter into seminal vesicles. In the seminal vesicles, what process is going on? The spermatogenesis. What is the other name of spermatogenesis? The reduction division. So, in the seminal vesicles, because of the spermatogenesis, what will be produced? The haploid spermatozoa. Now, based on this information, we have to observe the answer. The sperms in Peritima are produced by, one is testes, second one seminal vesicles, third testis sacs, fourth prostate glands. Now, what is the correct answer? The seminal vesicles. Now, go for the next question. Spermatogonia undergo maturation division. What is meant by maturation division? Nothing but spermatogenesis. What is the other name of spermatogenesis? Reduction division. Now, as we observe the testes, they produce diploid spermatogonia. They are also called the sperm mother cells. Now, the diploid number becomes a haploid by reduction division or meiosis 1. Now, based on this information, spermatogonia undergo maturation division or spermatogenesis or reduction in. One is testes, second one testis sacs, third one septal pouches. Now, you have to observe the third option. In the 11th segment, what are present? Seminal vesicles. In the 12th segment, seminal vesicles are present. Now, this part we call it as septum. Now, this part we call it as septum. Now, as we observe the seminal vesicles, they arise from septum of corresponding segment. So, seminal vesicles are also called the septal pouches. Why they are called septal pouches? They develop or arise as pouches from the septum. So, they called septal pouches. In these septal pouches, the spermatogonia undergo reduction division or maturation or spermatogenesis. Now, the correct answer is third option, septal pouches. Now, go for the next question. In Peritima, the secretion of prostate gland are believed to be helping in the formation of. Generally, the students are committing mistake regarding this question. Now, again repeating. In Peritima, the secretion of prostate glands are believed to be helping in the formation of. Now, as we observe the male reproductive system, in the male reproductive system, on each side, what are present? The vasa deferentia. Now, associated with male reproductive system, white, irregular prostate glands are present. Again repeating, associated with male reproductive system, white, irregular prostate glands are present. They are from 16th to 20th segment or 17th to 21st segment. Now, here the question is, the secretions of prostate glands are believed to be helping in the formation of. Generally, in the earthworm body, prostate glands secretions help in the formation of spermatophore. Now, what is meant by spermatophore? The bundle of spermatozoa. What is meant by spermatophore? The bundle of spermatozoa. Now, this is one bundle. In this bundle, the spermatozoa are present. The prostate gland secretions help in the formation of spermatophore. But here, the asking question is in the body of erythema. Now, in the body of erythema, the prostate gland's secretions function is not known. One is sperms, second one spermatogonia, third one spermatophores, fourth one unknown. In the body of Erythema, the function of prostate glands is not clearly known, but in other earthworms, prostate glands secretions help in the formation of spermatophore. Spermatophore is the bundle of spermatozoa. Now go for the next question. Segments of Erythema with accessory glands. Now as we observe the body of Erythema, this is the 17th segment and 19th segment. On the 17th and 19th segment, what are present? Two pairs of accessory glands are present. In associated with the accessory glands, what are present? The genital papillae. Now you have to listen. As we observe the accessory glands, these are the glands. What about the genital papillae? They are structures. Number of genital papillae, 2 pairs. Number of accessory glands, 2 pairs. Now the accessory glands and genital papillae, they help to attach to earthworms at the time of copulation. At the time of copulation. But how the question framing is, what are the structures help to attach earthworms? Then the answer is genital papillae. What are the glands help to attach the two earthworms? Then the answer is accessory glands. Accessory glands 2 pairs, genital papillae 2 pairs, both are present in 17th and 19th segment. Now the answer is 4th one. Now go for the next question. Now in Erythema, spermatogonia are produced from. Spermatogonia are produced from. Now this is 10th segment, 11th segment. In the 10th segment, 1 pair of testes. In the 11th segment, second pair of testes. Now the testes produce diploid spermatogonia. What is the other name of spermatogonia? Sperm mother cells. They are produced by first pair of testes, second pair of testes, which are in 10th and 11th segments. Now what is the answer? Testes. Now in Erythema, spermatogonia produced by testes and spermatozoa produced by seminal vesicles or septal pouches. Now the next question. Oviducts penetrates the intersegmental septum present between these segments. Now here the question is, the oviducts penetrates the intersegmental septum present between these segments. Now as we observe female reproductive system, in the female reproductive system, first segment, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. Now this is the 12th segment and 13th segment. Now in the 12th segment, what are present? 1 pair of ovaries are present. Now in the between the 12th and 13th segment, what is present? The septum present. Now in the 13th segment, what are present? 1 pair of ovaries are present. Now in the 13th segment, below ovaries, what are present? Ovijocal funnels. The ovijocal funnels open into the oviducts. Now these are called the oviducts. These are called the ovaries. Now this is the 14th segment. Now as we observe between 13th and 14th segment, what is present? The septum. Now In the 13th segment, one pair of ovaries. In the 13th segment, one pair of ovijocal funnels. They open into oviducts. Number of oviducts, one pair. The oviducts pass through the septum present between 13th and 14th segment. In the 14th segment, they unite, and on the ventral side, they open through the female genital pore. Now, the oviducts passing through the septum present between 13th segment and 14th segment. Now, move for the next question. The number of vasa deferentia in the 17th segment. Number of vasa deferentia in the 17th segment. Now this is the 10th segment, 11th segment, 12th segment, 13th segment, 14th segment, 15, 16, 17, 18. Up to this, regarding the male reproductive system, they are enough. Now we know very well, in the 10th segment, first pair of testes. In the 11th segment, second pair of testes. In the 10th segment, in the 11th segment, first pair of seminal vesicles. In the 12th segment, second pair of seminal vesicles. Now, in the 10th segment, spermijocal funnels. In the 11th segment, spermijocal funnels. Now, their margin having the cilia. Now, these are called spermijocal funnels. Now, each spermijocal funnel opens into the corresponding vasa deferentia. Now, in the body of erythema, how many vasa deferentia? 4 or 2 pairs. Now, the 2 vasa deferentia, they unite in the 12th segment and continue up to 18th segment. They continue up to 18th segment. Now, as we observe the vasa deferentia regarding the question, in the 12th segment, how many vasa deferentia? 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of vasa deferentia? 4. What is the other name of vasa deferentia? The male gonoducts. Now, the other name of vasa deferentia is also called the male gonoducts. Now, go for the next question.